A very good morning to everyone. In this online module, I'm going to teach you a very beautiful play, Mother's Day, as I have made another video also. In this particular video, I'm going to tell you a gist about the play and a short description about the play. Hope you will enjoy the video. Uh, Dear students, the writing of mine is little smaller, but I am going to tell you the points here. First of all, I have written the title, as you can see, it's Mother's Day by J.B. Priestley, and it is a kind of humorous portrayal of the status of a mother in the family. And main characters are Mrs. Annie Pearson, George Pearson, Doris Pearson, Cyril Pearson, and Mrs. Fitzgerald. The play opens in a living room. So this is very important that what is the setup of the play? J.B. Priestley is known for his intense creation and minute details. So here the play opens in the living room of Pearson's family. It's an afternoon time and it is a comfortably furnished living room in a small suburban. So this was the scenario or the setup. A small table with two chairs on either side was there. Both the ladies were sitting and talking. Who were they? The main characters, Mrs. Pearson at right and Mrs. Fitzgerald at left. They both were sitting and playing cards. Mrs. Pearson, as I have written, she is a pleasant but worried looking woman in her 40s. Whereas Mrs. Fitzgerald, just opposite to her personality, is older, heavier and a stronger woman, a sinister personality. She is smoking. That's very strange. It is very important that two should have sharply contrasting voices because there is a sharp contrast in their personalities too. And then both started talking. Here Mrs. Pearson was a worried looking and a very submissive lady. She is describing her problem, that how her family members actually consider her as a servant and take her duties and take her responsibilities as take it for granted attitude. So she was actually basically pissed off and kind of frustrated here with the attitude of the family members. Also, Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is a fortune teller and she knows little bit of black magic also. So she recommends Mrs. Pearson later on to live her life on her own terms and conditions and tell the right thing to the family members. Here we will see that how, with the help of Mrs. Fitzgerald, Mrs. Pearson will change her life at the end. And Mrs. Pearson, who is very much worried and kind of very submissive and loving, caring, family oriented lady, she feels little hesitant in listening to Mrs. Fitzgerald. But Mrs. Fitzgerald says her, motivates her that this is the high time. And on page number 34, you can see lot of conversation going on in between both of them. Very interestingly, one way she says that no doubt about it at all, who is the better for being spoilt, grown man or a girl? You think it does them good when you run after them all the time, take their orders as if you were the servant in the house, stay at home every night while they got out enjoying themselves? Never in all life. It's the ruin of them. So Mrs. Fitzgerald here telling Mrs. Pearson very clearly that the family is a ruined family. Husbands, sons, daughters should be taking notice of wives and mothers, not giving them order and treating them like a dirt. And here on page number 34, Mrs. Fitzgerald is pointing out a very bitter truth of Mrs. Pearson's life, that all the family members are actually treating her as a dirt. So point to be noted here, and please underline the line. This is very important idea. Mrs. Pearson dubiously. Dubiously means doubtfully. Keep dropping a hint. Hint, it's more than hints your family needs. Now she says it's the high time that you have to give them a right lesson, teach them a lesson so that they will understand your real importance, and you can regain your identity back. So again on page number 35, there is an extended communication between both the ladies, and at last there is a help from Mrs. Fitzgerald, where she helped Mrs. Pearson by exchanging their personality. So she knows little black magic, so she performs the spells, and that is how on page number 36 it's given in the bracket. The little scene should be acted very carefully. Both the personalities have changed, they changed their bodies, and now Mrs. Fitzgerald comes under Mrs. Pearson's body. The soul comes in Mrs. Pearson's body, and Mrs. Pearson acted as Mrs. Fitzgerald. Here Mrs. Fitzgerald decided to take the role of Mrs. Pearson, and Mrs. Pearson stays in the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald for a while. And now see how the play takes a U-turn. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald crosses and hurries out through the door right. Left to herself, Mrs. Pearson smokes away, lighting another cigarette. That's page number 37 I am reading, and begins laying out the cards for patients on the table. So here you can see that how drastically both the personalities have changed. They have changed their lifestyle because they have changed their personalities. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, because now she is in the body of Mrs. Pearson, she acted in her body, and that is how she behaved as Mrs. Pearson and started dealing with the family members one by one. Firstly, she deals with Doris, teaches her a lesson, then also says some funny words to her boyfriend, whose name is Charlie Spence. Then she come across and teaches a good lesson to Cyril, the son, and at last she gave a good lesson to her own husband, George. And slowly or gradually at last we will find the family members were shocked and astonished with the behavior of the changed mother. And then because of this changed behavior, they decided to change their own behavior towards the mother. And this is how Mrs. Fitzgerald helped Mrs. Pearson to regain her lost value in the family. So this particular lesson in short tells us that we all have mothers at our home. She is performing all the rituals and duties without any complaint day and night. What is our duty towards our mother? We should always think our mother not a piece of artifact, but a person who is actually devoting and sacrificing her own wishes and desires for our sake. So we have to value that particular person, give them the quality time, give them the privilege them with some extra frills some or the other day, and exchanging the roles and duties. And my dear girls, in this lockdown, your mother must be very much tired by performing so many duties, because all the family members are there at home. So after learning and reading this play, I want that you should develop a new perspective for your own mother and sincerely impart your own duties and roles. Honestly, learn a good lesson from this particular play, and you should actually implement in your own life. And that's the hidden message of J.B. Priestley, that not one day should be given to a mother, but mother should always be taken as an important part and parcel of our lives, and it shapes and it is an important part of our whole life. She is our world, and we have to give her a cater, we have to give her a value, we have to give her a proper identity, so that we can recognize ourselves through her. Not that she should always, submissively working and then regret at the end of the day that no one recognizes her. So I hope you will get the essence of the lesson by following my videos and also taking the notes through my PDF files which I'm sharing with you. Have a nice day and good luck.